parenting at home has been a really major problem. In a lot of these schools, a lot of these kids are coming to school, they don't have a good home life, they don't have parents that want to make them study, they come to school, they're in trouble. A lot of the first graders that came to the school I was just at, I was talking to the first grade teachers, they said that a lot of the kids didn't even know a single letter of the alphabet yet. They're starting out behind, and so it's hard to catch up to somebody that was from another country, like you were saying, Jim, or other areas, because these kids are struggling just right from the get-go. So we have to make sure we do as much as we can before they get to school, and then we'll have a much better time working with them at the school.
Thank you very much, Bill. In the essence of time, I know we want to get the two of you out of here at 5:30, as close as we can, to make your next candidate debate. So let's limit it to 1 minute for your answers, which would be all right. We can move along a little bit quicker. This next question would be for Jim then. Minnesota used to be proud of its education system, but we have slipped. How do we improve test scores, especially in math and science? And are the unions standing in the way of progress?
It's a pretty loaded question. How do we improve test scores? I really don't know, but I think we need to work harder. Our teachers need to get better. And we need to fund school systems right from the beginning some way. I'm going to go out on a limb, but I probably won't be very popular with this. I'd like to cut back the property tax situation with the schools funding. And we can build stadiums, we can build all kinds of complexes in the state of Minnesota on sales tax. I would like to come up with some kind of tax that everybody pays, 6%, 2%, be it for clothing or whatever. And that money goes to the school system and only. And we can also cut the property taxes back. The first way to improve test scores and everything else is give people and students more of a chance, and teachers a chance to teach.
Thank you. Tony?
Thanks, Barry. This is always a difficult question, how exactly we improve our schools. Our schools are still doing quite well, but we have significant room for improvement. Just yesterday, I was actually in and spoke for the entire hour to 5 hours in a row of 9th grade civics kids, and it was really great. And our kids are a wonderful resource for our future that we're going to have to draw upon, and we have to do the very best we can. And I think, you know, I don't think that we get there by vilifying our teachers. I don't think that the teachers' unions are standing in the way. I think that they went to this profession to teach our kids, and so we need to include them in the work that we do to improve the system. And truthfully, we need to empower them to use the creativity that they want to bring to the table to reach out to kids in their unique ways. I think we go too far to the cookie cutter approach, and that's not what our kids are. That's not what our teachers are. And I don't have the magic wand, but I think that we're maybe focusing a little bit too much on standardized tests. We need to be able to make sure that they function well on those, but we need to free them up too, and all that creativity.
Thank you, Tony. Bill?
You rephrase the question again, please. I want to make sure I answer it directly.
Minnesota used to be proud of its education system, but we have left. How do we improve test scores, especially in math and science? Are the unions standing in the way of?
Well, I think most of the teachers out there are doing a fantastic job, but there are other problems, like I started to mention earlier. We have a lot of discipline problems. We have issues that are facing that. It disrupts the classroom, and a teacher has to work with the problem students and take care of the disciplinary action, and it oftentimes uses up valuable class time. Another thing is the school that I was just at, some of the teachers got cut and programs got cut because the superintendent said he wants to have 30 students per classroom. A lot of the classes that were being taught there, it's impossible to have 30 kids in the classroom. It's an industrial shop or something like that you were talking about that ESCO didn't have or somebody. So we have to make sure we look at those issues and not just lay it out that you have to have 30 kids in the classroom, because that doesn't always work. And I don't think it's the best learning environment for a lot of the students at large classrooms. So whatever we can do to make sure that we have the necessary funding to have enough teachers there so that we can have smaller size classrooms
started a little bit earlier. Early childhood family development is a critical part of, getting kids started off on the right track. The second part of the question nobody touches the inference, to the, unions standing in the way of success, in the schools, and nothing could be further from the truth. We have to make these jobs quality jobs to attract good people, and unions have always, advanced the wages and benefit packages for these teachers, and they do deserve a good compensation for what they do. It's important work. And if there's problems in the classrooms with teachers, we need to look for strong administrators that will take on, maybe it is a problem teacher. And if we have strong administrators that can identify problems in the classroom and tackle that situation, then we'll be all right.
Okay, we're going to move on to the budget, and this question will be back to you, Tony. The state of Minnesota has budget problems. It seems that we've been dealing with deficits for many, many years. The governor and the legislature offer Band-Aids. Do we have a revenue problem or a spending problem? How would you fix it?
Well, this is always a great question. And we have, for many, many years, been kicking the can down the road and pushing our budget problems off to the next year. You know, many on this campaign trail will talk about a surplus, and I'm just here to tell you, a surplus doesn't exist. We're going to be going back in January with a $4.5 billion deficit to fix. That's 1.1 of revenues below projected spending, and plus inflation of $1 billion, plus the $2.4 billion that we owe our schools. And I can't take that off the books. We need some bold leadership to take on tax reform. We have tax tools from the last century, and we need to update our tax tools. I think that it has to be a balanced approach. We are going to have a little bit more revenue, but we're also going to have to make those important reforms and strategic cuts in places to come up with a balanced approach to getting our balanced budget structurally sound so that we can go forward and make the right decisions for the future of Minnesota.
Well, I think it's both a revenue and an expense problem. When times are good, the economy's rolling along, and the weather's, you don't have any weather extremes, you don't have any added expenses like snow plowing in the winter or something, or whatever, you know, things are going good, small businesses are successful. The state uses that economic climate to balance the budget for the next year or two ahead, think what it's going to be like, and they go on to kind of speculative. And it's not hard facts, it's not something that they're basing it upon. And then so like this past year, we had the major storm here, caused a lot of problems. We had other bad things that come up, unemployment goes up. We don't have the revenue all of a sudden. Okay, now all of a sudden it's a big deal. So now they're borrowing from the school funds and doing things like that. That isn't the way to do it. We have to stay within our means. And I also would want to see if there's some way, if we have a good year or two or three in a row, if we can reserve that money, put it in a special fund that we can draw on later, and not just spend it in that biennium, because that's what a lot of people do.
Thank you, Bill. Mike?
Yeah, I fully agree that we need to look at, some new sources of revenue. When we look at the, higher income earners in the state of Minnesota that are, reaping the benefits of a well-educated workforce and a strong infrastructure, the roads, the railroads, communication systems, I believe they can afford to pay a little bit more because they are reaping the benefits. And if we return to a pre-1998 tax structure that actually did generate rainy day funds and surplus, I think that is the first two steps that we need to take to help balance this budget. I'll leave it at that. Thanks.
Tim?
Well, I never mentioned earlier, but I am the mayor of Scanlon for the last 6 years. I'm about the most